The winner will lap the 4-mile track 125 times. Penske, who beat Shelby's Cobras at Sebring in this same GTO Ferrari, sees things differently. Average better than 84 miles per hour and take just under 6 hours to complete the punish.
The term Mopar often brings to mind the best of the classic muscle car era in American automotive history. While there are still cars made today that fall under this designation, the heyday of the brand was firmly grounded in the 60s and 70s. A notable exception in recent history was the 2023 Dodge Challenger SRT Demon, which is currently the fastest Mopar vehicle ever produced. With all the hype that goes with it, one can't help but look back at the cars that came before and inspired its creation. This is our countdown of 9 Mopar classic cars that defined what it meant to be a muscle car. Coming in at number 9 is the 1954 Chrysler New Yorker. While the body doesn't necessarily scream American muscle, it is hard to argue the 54 New Yorker is anything less than the granddaddy of the Mopar muscle era. 1954 was the year Chrysler upgraded the New Yorker from a 6-cylinder engine to a 195 horsepower firepower V8 engine. The deluxe option was given an even bigger boost, coming in at a whopping 235 horsepower. The New Yorker was the first popular Mopar vehicle to hold its own in racing circles. The car was a beast and significantly raised the interest surrounding the Dodge Chrysler family of automakers, giving way to the Greased Lightning the group would produce in the coming decades. If not for the popularity and the power of the 54 New Yorker, the rest of the cars on this list might not even seen the light of day. Rolling in at number 8 is the 1957 DeSoto Adventurer. 3 years after the New Yorker changed the game, the Adventurer hit the scene, coupling the class of the 50s body style and the progression toward bigger, faster engines. This beauty could go from 0 to 60 miles per hour in 7.2 seconds, which for that time was quite impressive. And considering the weight of the body, that speed becomes even more impressive. The reason behind it was the massive 345 cubic inch V8 and the 4-barrel carburetor, which provided an astounding 345 horsepower. By the late 1950s, the age of American horsepower had begun, and the DeSoto Adventurer was a prime example. Number 7 is a popular member of the Mopar family, the 1962 Dodge Dart 413. There were several versions of the car made that year, with the largest engine offered being the 413. Known as the Ram Charger, this bad boy boasted a 6.8-liter V8 engine and was marketed almost exclusively toward drag racers. Almost immediately, the Dart began breaking performance records and catching the attention of the entire racing community. The appearance of the Dart was also something of note, as it presented similar lines and curves to the Mopar models of the 50s, but carried a more compact body. The distinctive muscle car look can almost be found in its design, as the evolution of the brand continued to find their identity among their peers. Number 6 comes in hot, as we look at the 1966 Dodge Charger. The first generation Charger came off the factory floor and redefined what it meant to be an American muscle car. The initial run was effectively a modified Cornet body, but under the hood, it was anything but. The Charger perfected the fastback rear design, introduced by the AMC Rambler Marlin, combining it with the Cornet B body style and throwing in a little 60s flair. The signature front end was there from the start, distinguishing it from the competition from the first glance. While not intended originally to compete with the pony cars Ford was cranking out, it did come equipped with the famous 426 Hemi, Chrysler's follow-up to the 426 Wedge. The Elephant engine, as it quickly became known, was a heavy, powerful machine capable of 490 pound-feet of torque. With the sleek design and the godlike power to back it up, the Charger became the beast to beat in the muscle car game. Number 5 on our list of Mopar masterpieces is truly something special. The Dodge Superbay was a mid-sized muscle car that was originally only produced for 3 years. The 1968 was notable because by this point, Dodge was on top of their performance game and had the freedom to play with the aesthetics of their new cars. Like many others at the time, the basis for the Super B's design was the B body from the Cornet, but it was given an overhaul in the cool department. Dodge knew they didn't need to jump away from their monstrous 426 Hemi, so rather than building the B to be faster than its peers, they redesigned the front end, commissioned Bumblebee-themed chrome plates, and made the interior a dream to sit in. From their perspective, the Mopar family was winning the speed and performance game. So the 68 Super Bee was a major flex on their competitors, making both one of the most powerful and best-looking muscle cars at the same time. Like what you're seeing? Want to see more? Hit that subscribe button and never miss another video from your favorite motorsports channel on YouTube. We've got all the great automotive content you crave. You don't want to miss out. Now on with the video. Number 4 is a real legend in the Mopar family. The 1969 Dodge Daytona was a limited edition Charger. In 1968, Dodge had taken a hit with professional race car driver Richard Petty leaving them for Ford. They knew they needed to come back with a hit, and fast. Come back they did, with a vengeance. With the sole intention of winning NASCAR races, the Daytona was outfitted with a heavy-duty suspension and brake package, and the beefy 440 Magnum V8 engine. To help improve aerodynamics, the car was heavily modified, giving it the signature nose cone front end and the stabilizing wing on the rear fender. The winged warrior came out of the gate hot, winning the Talladega 500 that year. The design of the Daytona was so effective, NASCAR had to put rules and regulations in place to level the playing field the very next race season. Needless to say, the 69 Charger Daytona brought Mopar back to the top of the muscle car leaderboard. Coming in at number 3, the 1970 Plymouth Roadrunner earned its place in the upper echelon of Mopar designs immediately. Being the third generation of the design, Plymouth had taken time to tweak and adjust the dynamics of the vehicle for eye-catching efficiency, and the 70 Roadrunner rolled onto the scene with a redesigned front end and the introduction of high-impact colors. It retained the classic 426 Hemi, but adjustments made to the intake and aerodynamics made notable differences in the performance of the car. Despite the improvements being made industry-wide, especially by the Mopar family, sales began to decline in 1970 for high-performance vehicles due to insurance companies raising premiums on muscle cars. Over the course of the production year, Mopar would produce an elegant swan song of a muscle car as the era came to a close. One of the most notable entries on the list is objectively the Roadrunner. Number 2 on our list is the 1970 Chevelle SS. The Chevelle was a slick machine, drawing inspiration from Buick and sporting the Coke bottle styling. Under the hood, it boasted a 350 horsepower turbojet 396 V8 engine. In an effort to diversify and appeal to drivers on various levels, there were several available engine options, and even though the 396 was standard, the most popular package was the 454 cubic inch engine, introduced the year prior. Now we arrive at the number 1 spot on our list. Drum roll please for the 1970 Plymouth Hemi Cuda. The Barracuda suffered from the same struggles that plagued the other muscle cars that year, but Plymouth saw this coming. In order to combat the dip in sales, they produced 3 versions of the car, all positioned to appeal to different financial needs. There was the base Barracuda, the Grand Coupe for the luxury car owner, and the powerful sport model, the Cuda. The Cuda had the 426 Hemi under the hood and could go 0 to 60 miles per hour in just 5.8 seconds, being the first car on the list by a second and a half. It was the most coveted Mopar engine ever made, yielding a beefy 425 horsepower. Aside from being the power fancy of every race car driver in America, it created an air of mystique around it, as they didn't make very many of them. Given the extra $900 added to the price tag at the time of manufacturing for the Cuda package, there was only 652 made that year. The rarity of this dream car, coupled with its performance, made it the obvious choice for the number 1 Mopar vehicle on this list. So, there you have it, our top 9 classic Mopar cars. Do you agree with our lineup? Do you believe that there are any other models that deserve a place in the pantheon? Let us know in the comments section below. Maybe your suggestions will make it to our next video. See you in the next one.